What is good, everybody? Hello, hello. I am going to share my response to a question I received in my Ask Juliana emails. And essentially what those are is I open up my inbox, which I'll share below, to folks to ask questions about self-help, personal development, self-improvement, growth that can really just help them with their personal relationships with themselves, with difficult situations that they're facing, and just give them context and strategies and perspectives to apply in a way and get them to think outside the box in maybe a way that they haven't thought of. So this is a great way to give free value to you all and bless you. So it's just also a heart thing as well. But the question I received was, how do I express my voice? Like, I am in a place where I feel like it's just better to be quiet, but I also sense that that might not be the best thing to do. And I'm just really wrestling with how to communicate. It seems when I speak up, it turns into arguments, or if I stay silent, then I'm just completely unsettled and I'm just not getting anywhere. I just don't feel like I'm progressing. So something along those lines. I thought that the best way really that I can respond to this is to provide 10 ways to actually cultivate your voice so that you don't believe the lie that your voice is not worth speaking up for, like that your voice doesn't matter. Okay, so let's just dive into these. Number one, it's important to recognize that regardless of response, regardless of what you've experienced, what you have to say is valuable. Okay, whether that's an idea, a belief, an opinion, a feeling, whatever it is, right? There's a reason that you're being prompted to communicate and express yourself. There's a reason that that's happening now, right? It's valuable, okay? And it's valuable because it matters to you. That's valuable, all right? So you've got to make sure that you are a safe space to value your voice, first and foremost, meaning you're not just gonna like automatically quiet yourself and not speak up. So the best way to even start valuing your voice is to have conversations with God. Honestly, like that is the secret space. That is the safe space. That is a place of refuge. That is where you can really get a lot of feedback when you're talking to God and you're actually viewing him as your coach, as your counselor, as your Prince of Peace. You will start to get feedback. And as you hear yourself talking and working through something and processing it, that is you valuing your voice. That is you speaking up. Not everything needs to be spoken, through a certain vehicle, in a certain public setting. None of that. But you do need to value your voice first and foremost, because if you don't value it, then you'll have an expectation that other people will just dismiss it also. And you likely won't even be moved to share, right? Like if it's not valuable, why would I even share it? So number one is you've got to value what you have to say. You've got to recognize that it's of value and then start cultivating an environment in yourself that is a safe space for you to actually speak up, right? Whether that's in a secret space with God or with somebody that you trust or even with somebody that you have to pay, make sure that you are valuing your voice and actually cultivating it and experiencing what it is that you have to. Number two is trust your outrage. This sounds bizarre, but trust that you are being unsettled for a reason, that you are experiencing these unsettling, this feeling, right? Like that is something that is not necessarily something that you have to react to, but it's something your attention. Our emotions are triggers, right? They're highlighting something. Just like if you're in a car and the light sensors for different things come on, they're getting your attention. So the emotions work in a very similar way. So trust that you are thinking something for a reason. Like even if it's something that you don't want to be thinking, at least have that awareness so you can start exercising self-control with that. So for example, in a relationship context, you might have a fear and a thought that just continues to come up. Like you have this vain imagination or this thought that you keep ruminating on, and you can tell by how you feel that that's not of God and that that's not even helping you show up in a peaceful, clear, guided, centered way, right? So where does that thought come from? Is it true? Do I agree with that belief? right? When you get to the bottom of that, then if it comes up again, you don't have to give it the same kind of airtime, and you don't have to react to it or freak out by it. So the work that you do to trust what is happening in you is important. And because you are unsettled, that is bringing up something on purpose. So pay attention to that and trust that. Number 3 is refuse to be silenced. So whether there's been a dysfunctional relationship, whether there's been a difficult work environment, whether somebody has spoken something mean into your life and you believed it or you came to agreement with it, there could be all sorts of reasons for why we might feel like we should just stay silent, okay? Or that our voice doesn't matter, but refuse that lie, right? Reject the lie, refuse to believe it, and start doing the work to develop your voice, okay? Number 4 is don't worry about being liked. And to further this, I would say check your motives, really and truly, right? You don't need to speak loud to be a megaphone. It's way better and way more influential just to be a magnet, okay? Magnets know who they are. Magnets know what they carry. Magnets let the people that need to hear their message come and find them, right? Megaphones need to be seen. They need to be heard. They need to dominate. They need to control. That doesn't have to be you, right? The main thing is being really clear on what your message is and what your voice is a carrier of and what it is for, okay? Because your voice is powerful. Your words literally create worlds, right? Our words literally release things into the world, okay? So it's really important to guard your mouth and speak what you want to see, not what you don't. All right, number 5 is speak your truth. So this builds on that, but you've got to know what's true for you. Okay, not what's true for somebody else, not what's going on in their being, but what is true for you. What are you in agreement with? What are you partnered with? What do you represent? What are you about, right? You've got to speak up for that, okay? Number 6, let me go back to that. I feel something on that. So with speaking your truth, sometimes that could be as simple as speaking up for your inner child, okay? So if your inner child was shy and soft-spoken and didn't really speak up, you as the adult self, when your inner child self surfaces, right? Or a reaction from your inner child comes up, your mature self now can respond differently to that fear, to that concern, to that trigger, okay? With your voice. All right. Number 6 is don't dismiss your inner voice. Oh my goodness. If I were in person with folks, I would say, raise your hand if you have ever dismissed your inner voice and it cost you dearly. Oh my goodness. So many hands would be up because we've all done it, right? And we wish we would have listened. I wish I wouldn't have gone that direction. I was being prompted to not have that car accident, or I wish I would have listened to that and not wasted years in this relationship, or I wish I would have just not grieved the Holy Spirit and really just trusted that still small voice, because I would be in a totally different space right now, right? So do not dismiss your inner voice. In fact, get better at turning up the volume on that voice, whether that's spending time with God or whether that's being crazy or radical about turning down the noise of so many other things going on in our life, distractions, TV, news, radio, just noise, right? Turn down that other noise so you can hear the still small voice, so you can actually pay attention to your inner voice, okay? Sometimes you really have to silence the noise around you to do that. Number 7, this one is powerful, but develop courage standing up for others. That's a way that you can develop your voice. So you can do this, practically speaking, by getting involved in a cause or serving in a ministry, by getting involved in that and being a voice for that. So I have been a voice in the recovery space and really training and leading and holding space for people to walk through and process and heal from hurts, habits, and hangups that they have. And that's a very vulnerable place, right? And so as I was in that place, or as I continued to do that work, my voice for that, my voice for the voiceless, my voice for the powerless, my voice for the hopeless turned up, right? Like I didn't realize how much I cared for that until I was in that environment serving. So a lot of times you can find your courage and you can find your voice when you start getting into the position of helping other people. Number 8 is be yourself. And sometimes this requires just devoting more time to doing self-discovery, self-exploration, self-awareness work. But I will say to that, do it with God, okay? Because we can easily self-help our way through life, but we'll ultimately be limping through life if we don't include God. So be yourself. Make sure that you learn who you are through the context of who did God create you to be? What did God have in mind when he formed, shaped, and anointed you, right? What did he put you on this earth to do? He's your creator. You can really learn a lot about who you are and be that through relationship with him, okay? So you can even be praying about a revelation of who you are so that you just don't seek after just self-help tools and resources. Okay. Number 9 is don't be afraid to stand alone. I mean, often when you really discover and tap into that thing that you are a mouthpiece for, you will probably, it'll be polarizing, right? There's going to be people that don't like it. A lot of times these are well-meaning people that love you, they care about you, but they don't agree with you. They actually think that you're crazy, okay? But that is normal. We don't always like that, but even Jesus had to leave where he was from to have influence, okay? So it may be the same for you, but be willing to care so much and value so much your voice, right? That you won't be afraid to stand alone, that you won't compromise, okay? And then lastly, number 10, be vigilant about not losing your voice and helping others to use their voice as well. With that one, there's going to be so much that will continue to come up to challenge you, to silence you, to get you to shut up, okay? But that should let you know the value that's actually on your voice, okay? Particularly the enemy. He comes to kill, steal, and destroy. So he will find ways to instill fear in you. He will find ways to shut you up, particularly if you are making moves for the kingdom, okay? So be diligent about developing your voice, cultivating your voice, being in relationship with God, being in environments where you're able to use your voice, right? Be vigilant about that. And then also help other people to do that as well, knowing that there is usually a full-fledged attack when you are using your voice because it is that powerful, okay? So my encouragement to the question, the person that had the question, and to everybody listening is that your voice has value, and it's so, so important to be able to communicate and express yourself well, to not just be an echo, to stand for your truth, to care about what matters to you, and to steward that well. Your voice is something that you steward, just like any other gift, talent, resource that you've been given by God. Your voice is also something that you steward. So staying silent when you've been given this powerful voice is a disservice, right? Now, there's a time and a place and a tone and a way and expression that is wisdom, right? That applies wisdom, okay? And the motivation is of love, okay? So there's things to pay attention to in the expression of your voice, but silencing it is not the answer, all right? So that's really what I want to encourage you with today. If this message blessed you and you haven't already, make sure you subscribe to the channel. I do messages fairly frequently, but a lot of times they are inspired. So I don't always come on at a set time, a set day. So the best way to know and get a notification when a new video comes up is to subscribe to the channel. If the message blessed you, or if somebody is on your mind and heart that this message would bless, make sure that you copy the link and share with a friend. All right, guys, until next time, stay blessed.